Hey guys, Jameson here, and today I'm just going to be doing a quick video on how to disassemble and maintain the Spyderco Paramilitary 3 Lightweight. So I know that Spyderco has actually released a video on how to disassemble this knife, and Nick Shabazz and some of the bigger knife YouTubers have released videos on how to disassemble this knife, but I thought that I would do a little one for my channel. So I'm just going to be taking it apart and greasing some of the parts. I've recently taken it apart, but I didn't oil it enough as I probably should have, and so the action is not as good as it could be. And so I'm just gonna give it a little bit more work there. If you can see, it's just the slightest bit sticky sometimes, like that. As you can see, sometimes it doesn't want to go. And so I'm just going to disassemble it and fix that really quickly. So all you're going to need to do this is, I've got some hops number 9. It's what I use for my knives. And then you're going to need a couple hex keys. You're going to need a T6 and a T10, and I think maybe one more. So you're just going to need a small star key set. So we're going to start off with the pivot screw here. That is a T10. So I'm going to pop this into my bit driver really quickly. There we go. And undo our first screw. If I can do it. There we go. Gonna go ahead and undo that. Okay. Have a little magnetic tray here that I can set my parts in. And next we're going to need a T6 for the little shoulder screws here. I think that's what they're called. So we're just going to pop that bit into here. Alrighty. So let's see if I can do it. I'm gonna have to set my camera down really quickly, but you guys get the idea. Just gotta undo that screw. Alright. And now we're going to do the clip screw really quickly, which is back up to a T10 again, I believe. So let me swap out the bits really quickly, and I'm actually going to check. That actually might be a T9. Let's see. Yeah, I believe the bit for the clip is actually a T9. Yep, that's the bit. So for your clip here, you're going to want a T9 size bit driver, and then you're going to take out your clip screw. Going to be customizing this with some gray hardware soon, hopefully, which ought to be nice. So if you're just disassembling this knife to like oil it, you can pretty easily disassemble it by taking off these side screws, and then you're just going to take off these last two screws here, and you will be done. So I'm going to take the T9 driver, undo this screw. Then I have the last T6 screw left, and then I think I'm done. Sometimes it's a little bit of a pain to get these last screws out. There we go. Now going back to the T6 for the shoulder screw here. Switch out the bit. You have to have about 3 different sizes of bit drivers here. So the T6, T9, and T10 are what I've found that I've been using for this knife so far. So it's always good to have a decent variety of options in your bit sizes. Pull that out of there, and we've got the little other side of the clip. And lastly, we are going to pull the, well, we might not have to. Let me check. No, we are going to pull the clip screw on this other side to finish the disassembly. Just going to pop my bit driver in there and get this started. Okay. So once we have this out, the knife should be pretty easy to disassemble, I believe. Yep, there you go. Now, if you're just going to be oiling some parts, this is as far as you really need to go. So this is your little compression lock piece, and then here's your knife mechanism in here, and it is pretty smooth, but I'm going to just be adding a little bit of oil to that today for good measure. So I got my hops number 9, and I'm going to cut out a quick piece of cloth here. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got a little piece of cloth here. I'm gonna unfold that really quickly and apply some of my hops number 9 onto the little piece of rag there. Roll it around, let that soak in, and I'm going to just take that and gently wipe it onto the moving parts to let it soak in there. On the inside there. And for the pivot itself, going to get a drop in there, wiped around. Okay, so once you've done that, you can dab at it really quickly with your cloth and it's ready to be reassembled. Just going to wipe off this little spot here, and I think that's all we need to do, guys. Alrighty, so now I'm just going to take my knife, make sure it's folded all the way back into the position that it should be in, and I'm going to set my scales back on there, and we're going to put one of the clip screws through here. I say clip screws, I meant pivot screws through here. And if I can get my driver right, there we go. We will flip it over and do this side. And then turn it out a turn to keep it centered decently. Now we're going to get our clip back in position. So I'm going to take my clip and my clip screw and we're going to take this and set the clip down here in its little spot. And I forgot to say, we have to seat the screw kind of in the clip here. If you guys can see, this is the easiest way to do it. You're going to take the clip and you're going to take the screw and you're going to slide it into there. And I'm really not going to be able to get this on camera. And then you can set the screw down in there like that. And then put the spacer on the other side. Let me do that off camera real quick. Alright, and you just got to make sure that it doesn't pop out of the sides. And that will be pretty easy for you to do. So now we just got to put the shoulder screws in, and I think we're done. And the screw over here is easier to do once these are done. I tried to do this on my first disassembly. I tried to undo the screw in front of the lanyard hole first, and I couldn't do it because there wasn't enough pressure on the screw to actually screw it in, and there might not be enough still. We shall see. Nope, there is now, and I couldn't get it screwed in at first because there wasn't any pressure here to push it together. And so now we're going to get our T6 bolt again, and we're going to put back the T9 and get out the T6 bolt and do these last two little screws up at the front, and our reassembly will be complete. And then I will just check the centering, make sure it's all good, and we will be done, guys. So we're just going to take this and put these shoulder screws back in, if it will let me. Jeez. Come on. There we go. Alright, shoulder screw number 1 is in. And flip the knife over, and we can put shoulder screw number 2 back in there. So this is a very easy to disassemble knife, in my opinion. So if you are buying this knife as a first knife, or you're just not super great at disassembling, or you're kind of new to taking apart and putting together knives and things like that, then this is a very easy knife to do. So there we are, guys. That's all. I've got no more screws left. It's disassembled, and we've got the pivot oiled nicely. It is tight, but that is just because I have not loosened the pivot screw yet. So we're going to get our T9 bit again, and we're going to, really quickly, if I can get this bit out, we're going to, there we go. we're going to loosen the pivot screw so that we got a nice smooth action here. So you're just going to tighten it all the way down and then turn it out just a tad like that. And it should be good. Yep, there we go, guys. There you have it. Buttery smooth action, if you guys can see that. Alrighty. And the centering of this blade is pretty much perfect, if you guys can see that. And we've got the nice smooth action that I was wanting from the beginning. And we're working that oil through the mechanism there. Yeah, so that's all for this video, guys. And if you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. I will see you guys later.